138. I am your host, Mark Segovia, alongside the two OGs, OSG and Andres. OSG, what's going on, my guy?
What's up, brother, man? I'm ready. Get back to Houston this week. Shit, forget where I'm at half the time. I want to be in Houston so bad. Want to be in. I'm ready to get back this weekend. Got a lot going on. I hope it doesn't rain too much. It's not going to stop me from doing anything, and hopefully it won't stop too many other people. But man, what's up? What's going on with y'all?
For sure, man. We're always happy to have you here in the H Town. Hopefully, we can make it a permanent thing sooner rather than later. We'll see what's going on. Andres, man, yo, let me see. Can you stand up a little bit? I want to see that kit. I want to see that kit,
And
man.
a 2012 alternate kit, the only third
Oh
kit we ever
man,
had. It could
man,
it,
dude,
it could change next year, but
I,
man,
I, love that kid, bro. How you doing today?
oh, pretty good, man. Like it's been an interesting week, uh, for Dynamo,
Little bumpy road.
and man, just processing everything, and I'm looking forward to discuss.
Well, I can't see what it says. Uh,
It says Rashawn. I asked him what army are we tonight, and Rashawn Che go or tap in army
okay, there
Segovia.
we go. Hey, there we go, man. You
From,
know, hey, from
Seba.
all I know is tap ins count as well as golazos. So, but anyways, guys, you know, I guess we'll start with the most recent news. And obviously, yesterday was the beginning of the Dynamo's 2025 US Open Cup journey, and it was against Phoenix Rising of the USL. Yesterday's scoreline of 4-1, Dynamo advancing to the round of 16, in which they will face Austin FC. And I believe that will be either Tuesday or Wednesday, the 20th or 21st. I don't know if it's been confirmed yet.
It was confirmed today. It's gonna be Wednesday, May 21st at
Wednesday, May
8 p.m.
21st.
if I'm not mistaken.
Sounds good. Sounds good. But the great thing about it, guys, is we did qualify. We did advance. And not only did we advance, I mean, we had a little bit of a scare there. Nice rotation of players. I like the lineup that I saw beginning when I saw the spread the sheet first, the starting 11 sheet first. I like the players that were out there. Obviously, players like Andre, who we signed in the offseason from Fulham Menisa, Ortiz,
Fluminense, yeah.
who saw his first couple of minutes coming over from Denmark. What club did he come from? Denmark, right? He came over from Denmark, right? If I'm not mistaken. Um, we also saw Kowalic, Sevas take a little bit more of a more offensive role where the I believe the offensive was surrounded around him. We saw Nephew get the starting nod at the 9, and obviously we saw old man Lodero out there trying to see if we can still find a little bit of fire to help us progress in this U.S. Open Cup. Um, from my standpoint, guys, before I get to y'all and I ask you questions that I need to and that I need answers to, first and foremost, glad to see, like I predicted, Gillingham out there. Played really, really well. Showcased the fact that that he is capable, still capable, and it's good to have a backup keeper like that with capabilities like that. And like I said, with the athleticism that he's capable of. The unfortunate thing with the penalty with the PK, even the announcers commented on it, the fact that they felt it wasn't a PK. But at these early stages of the U.S. Open Cup, no VAR available for them to go back and look at it. So a PK is given, a PK is scored. It's 1-1 Dynamo. Um, OSG, let me get to you first, my guy.
All right.
Obviously, the second half starts. They're 1-1 after that horrendous PK call. The offense still didn't seem to click right with me. They seemed kind of stagnant. It's still you. I know, obviously, we're playing a lot of the backup players, but obviously, this would be the opportunity for these guys to grab the horns and showcase Ben that they should be mentioned for starting 11 positions. But I really didn't see anything that showed me that that, oh man, our depth is really good. Your thoughts on the depth, as far as the players that played last night?
I was happy to see the rotation. What was it? 9 different starters that we did not expect per se, you know. So I was happy to see that. Was happy to hear about the news with Andrade signing an extension on his loan, first team loan as well. So we'll see if he gets an opportunity with the actual first team since there is a need there. Ortiz finally friggin' played. Nothing special, like you said, but he was there. He was solid. He was a little bit of a presence. So what else? Urso, looking very good there. But it had to have been better from the start, especially with these younger guys. Duane is getting to actually play finally, and we've been waiting for him to play. But it was just a for me the sad 90
Mm,
minutes for those youngsters out there until it was weird. The first teamers come in and it didn't improve much. It did not improve
yeah,
much at all. But also at the same time, what was it? El Paso wasn't not El Paso. Who are Phoenix wasn't even a threat at all. A couple
no,
times maybe, but they were off sides, but nothing. So nothing to worry about, nothing to sweat about. Like you said, the bogus PK, the referee was calling soft calls, letting the action make his whistle blow, and uh, but it's not the referees. It's not. We're not worried about the referee, but that
yeah,
should have been a lot better. Should have been a lot better.
for sure.
Detroit was what I was remembering, and that was 4-3.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, kind of a little bit of a lackluster performances for these guys. Andres, I'll come to you. Your overall opinion about the whole the first 90. We're not gonna get into the extra time yet, but the beginning 90, obviously the Ladero set piece for Andrade to score his first goal as a Dynamo player. It's obviously a positive mark. Just your thoughts on that and the full time 90.
Honestly, with the first half, I came in with the
There it is.
I came in with the expectation that Phoenix was just gonna be a handful, especially when it comes to defense, and that was their theme of the game. My main impression of the first half, I feel like they were just gonna be hunkering down and countering, and that ended up being the entire game plan for them. Which, to an extent, it worked because they were just trying to frustrate the Dynamo here and there. And the way that I see it, I feel like we did attack a lot, but we were still like holding back. I feel like they were just like trying to figure out how to break through the low block, but like they kind of did their homework because they know that they're just really afraid to shoot from most opportunities until they just find the perfect pass to get the perfect shot to get the perfect goal. And I, it was kind of frustrating to watch. Honestly, I was just like sitting there waiting for the goal to come in, but every time they just like get inside the box or just like looking for like who to pass, I'm like, guys, come on, do something. You're giving the game to Phoenix. Like, it obviously you guys are attacking a lot. Things could change for sure, but at the same time, this is what Phoenix wants because they don't really have anything else going for them other than that to like catch us off a break and see what happens. So it was kind of infuriating, honestly.
Yeah, I have to agree with you on that aspect. Obviously, it's sad. It's a bit of a disappointment. I'm not gonna lie to you. The first full 90 to me, aside from the Ladero to Adrande goal, uh, it was a boring game. I'm not gonna lie. Phoenix obviously they did their part as far as waiting for their opportunities to chat to go on the counter, and and shout out to those guys too. I mean they took opportunity and they had great shots on goal, and Gillingham did a great job in making those saves as well. So shout out to Gillingham and all those guys as well, and obviously the defense, obviously with Ortiz barely coming in. Adrande, Escobar, obviously, we knew he was going to go the full match no matter how much it was since he's on red and not going to be available for league play. And then obviously Bartlow getting more minutes as well. But uh, but yeah, guys, I don't know, man. I mean, in a way, I was glad that the game kind of had extra time minutes to get more, I guess, to get these people more time together and to build the chemistry because obviously with the score ending the way it did and seeing the ball hitting the back of the net, I'm hoping this builds confidence for not only uh Savas Kowalovic, who scored one of the goals. But Jackie McGlynn, let's see if we can show his golazo from last night, Andres, if we possibly can. But obviously, I'm happy to see him score the way he does because I've been a little critical of the young man. Um, he's sometimes there, sometimes he's invisible in the games. And for somebody who we think we has such high upside and who we're depending on to, especially to cover the loss of somebody like Ache Ache and stuff like that, uh, I need him to be more active and more involved and just a better sorry, a better facilitator of the attack, you know. And obviously, we know that the outside shots are there, and those golazos are going to be there. And obviously, when he scores those, it's going to be celebration time all the time. But we just need a little bit more from him as far as being active and not falling invisible in these games. Obviously, he came on as a
Suspect
sub.
of the bin system.
Yeah, he came up as he came in as a sub, so obviously he's against tired legs. But I mean, obviously the a golazo is a golazo. I don't know if we were able to show that.
Yeah, I'm
That
showing you now.
awesome, awesome, awesome.
More of that, please.
Top corner. You love to see it. You love to see it. I would just love to see a lot more of it. So, I mean, great job by McGlynn scoring that goal. And then obviously the next thing, obviously, and I'm sure you have this goal queued up as well. The connection between the two DPs and Linger and Ponce. Obviously, we are hoping that Linger is the solution to Ponce's little bit of a goal drought, and helping him facilitate and has capabilities of scoring more goals for the Dynamo. And obviously, it was great to see those two link up. Linger ended up with 2 assists, and one of those assists was a Ponce tap in, which I'm sure we have the clip of here pretty soon. This will load it
Hey,
up here pretty soon.
As Andreas plays that clip, I'll lead you with a tease for the DP Linger. What
Mhm.
Asher had to say to
I
him.
like teases.
McGlynn lifting into space and Linger's running in behind. The flag will stay down. Andre Linger towards Ponce to finish it. Ezequiel Ponce looks to have put the finishing touch on a 4th round win. They left it.
There we go. Nice little tap-ins. Tap-ins count as well.
Yep.
Rushan. But guys, I mean, obviously a 4-1 win over the USL competition. Any thoughts on the game as far as the extra time goes? Like I said, would I preferred them finish it off in the first 90? Obviously, yes. But I mean, if it meant more confidence for the guys seeing the ball hit the back of the net the way they did in those extra 30 minutes, then I'm all for it. Anything else you want to add to it, Andres, before we move on?
Man, nice and easy. And it kind of opened the floodgates from there. And obviously, I was expecting kind of the push to start coming in after all the starters were subbed
Yeah.
like into the game. Yeah, it was kind of it kind of felt bittersweet, just processing everything happening at the same time after regulation. But like, it's good to see always.
Yeah, I mean, I know some people were talking about, like we had to put our starters in. They're gonna get tired against Seattle, about this, and that. Look, these are professional guys. They haven't played that many games yet up to this point, and I'm sure they'll be ready to go against Seattle this Saturday. But yeah, obviously it would have been a lot nicer to have seen much more production from the quote unquote bench guys that are getting the starting minutes in the U.S. Open Cup. Oh, is there anything you want to add before we move on?
Nah, man, it was just, man, it's just disappointing at how long it took us to get those goals and finally get those goals in 21 shots, and it took us 99 minutes to score the game winner. So it's still
Yeah.
embarrassing. It's still the bin system trouble scoring in the final third, and it's gonna we're going up against Seattle. as you mentioned earlier, 4 draws. Maybe not here on the show tonight, but you mentioned earlier 4 draws in the last 5 games against Seattle. So, man, I don't know, bro. This beanie ball is starting to suck right now.
Yeah. Well, this is U.S. Open Cup boxing right here. Okay.
Yeah.
But when it comes to league play, unfortunately, this is what it is.
Yep.
So
Man, man.
2-0 loss against LAFC this past Saturday in league play. Um, obviously, coming down off the heels of me switching up my question the previous show, which now I have to refer back to because
Hey,
unfortunately, if we look up, like I said, look, time flies. You know, we play these games week in, week out, week in, week out, and obviously, where we feel like we have a lot of time, we got players coming in X, Y, Z. We can still make the push, whatever. But I look up, a third of the season is gone, and we're second to last in the Western Conference table. Regardless of what we've talked about the last couple of weeks, for the last month, the positive results, the 2 wins, the draws on the road, which are golden points in my opinion. With all that to be said, with all that being said, we are still second to last in the Western Conference table, and unfortunately, with a third of the season gone, that's not a good look. OSG, I'll come to you first on this. Your thoughts on the LAFC game?
5 points.
Again, another lackluster performance. To be honest, in my opinion, no connection. Um, and then obviously we see Escobar with the red at the end to get a. I think he already accumulated enough yellow cards to be suspended, but the red card was just the cherry on top, I guess. And at that point, your thoughts on the overall game and the performance by the Dynamo against LAFC this past Saturday?
This was 2 years of revenge for LAFC against Houston for regular season play. Since we've beaten them 4 times in a row, they couldn't score on us, and or 5 times in a row. Actually, this would have been 6 if we could have played it off. But just that game was just horrendous. Like you said, there was no connection, there was no forward play, there was nothing, zero shots on goal. 4 shots. I don't even know where those 4 shots went because I don't remember them. But zero shots on goal. 0.23 xG, which I don't even know how we got the 2.3 xG. Accidental, maybe. But LAFC just whooped our ass, and they brought every friggin' thing to us, and it was just embarrassing. 19 shots against us too. Like that was just who. That says it all right there. That was
Yeah,
a
for
joke
sure.
to watch. That was
For
hard to watch, embarrassing to watch. And Escobar, of course, whatever. I don't care about his red because that's just how that game went. We just
yeah,
sucked ass, and he was mad about it.
bit of frustration there. Um, Andres, I think we mentioned last week in last week's show. Obviously LAFC, not the typical LAFC at the moment that we're used to seeing, who are usually battling at the top echelon of the Western Conference, battling for supporter shield and trying to be number one in the conference and all that good stuff. Right now, they're kind of middle of the pack, but obviously, a sleeping giant. With all the talent that they do have currently on the roster. What are your thoughts on them as far as showing out the way they did? Because obviously, I think this game. I think if we look back and we look back at LAFC's season, starting from last week till the end of the season, this might have been the game to kind of that flip the switch for them.
They did what they had to do, and their quality really showed here, even though it doesn't really reflect on most of the games they played this year. And for us, it was mostly just trying to figure out how to go around our weaknesses, because I was just watching that game and it was really just horrible to watch. It was definitely worse than the Phoenix Rising game, like
Oh,
during
it's way worse.
regulation.
Way worse.
And I was just trying to be optimistic about things, and I was kind of just afraid that we were gonna end up with zero shots on goal, just just based on the production that night specifically. And like overall, obviously, we are shorthanded, but at the same time, we are in a situation where we have been shorthanded for too long, and we have to figure out something because
We're
you
not
already mentioned it. Like
short-handed.
it,
We just suck at it.
yes, yes.
I know we have. Sorry, I know we have more players coming in that we've signed. We're not short-handed. We have the roster that we had last year with a couple McGlynn and what? Nothing else. That's McGlynn. Is the newest player on the roster right now. Everybody else was here last year, so we're not short. We're
Linger
just
and
we
or
just they yeah Linger coming in. So yeah, you so two out of and I guess your keeper as well. So man. I get what you mean by short-handed, Fox, but man, shit, we're not short-handed. We're just not executing at all. So, but go ahead. I sorry I had
but
to interrupt that.
yeah.
No, it's okay. Like I was more on the impression that it's more about the gaps that we have left open, and we do have players that can fill those. But I feel like the gaps have been closed enough for us to just like go and roll out for the season, and that night it was just like really miserable to watch because like midfield was just building up to nothing, and the forward core were just like unable to do anything about it because there was no service. And defensively speaking, we were just like taking hits after hits, and they ended up with like 10 shots on target, I believe. Yeah, 10, yes. And it was really miserable like overall for everyone, which really sucks.
Well, Bond had 7 saves, right?
Yeah, yeah. I mean, that's. I mean, I guess if we're gonna look for that little ray of sunlight through a cloudy day, I mean, Bond is showing why Ben was so quick to switch from Gillingham to him, as far as being the starter in league play. But you know, I mean, I want to go back to something that Andres mentioned about just this the capabilities of being able to close the gaps and stuff like that. Like last season, we had those players that were striving, that were running, and they had that chemistry where they knew where each other was at, and they were able to cover, and they were able to pause the offensive prowess of the opposing team because they knew if I didn't get there, I got somebody behind me who's gonna get there and help me, and gonna cause them to stop where we can go ahead and get that ball back. Whereas now the teams are our opponents are just outright beating us. They're just outright sprinting and just running past us. And whether it's a lack of communication. I mean, like, look, I mean, it's match day what 11, 12. That was match day 11 or 12. I'm not sure what it was. I mean, so obviously, still, even though we're a third of the way the season passed through, a lot of these players are still this. It's their first time playing with each other, right? As far as like two handfuls of games or whatever, a dozen of games together. So I mean, they're still trying to understand where everybody needs to be placed, who needs to help out when somebody gets beaten, things of that nature. So it gets a bit frustrating, when you have. I mean, I mentioned it from the get go, from the start of the season.
Bench
When
Bossy and play Lingers to Cam.
yeah, when you see last year's team, you see the defensive line solidified, right? You see the midfield solidified. Obviously, the front three has always been an issue, but when you have two-thirds of your team solidified, no holes, no gaps, you can see why that Dynamo team was as won so many times as it did, as opposed to this team where we have gaps, we have players not covering other players, we have mistakes, we have just vulnerabilities everywhere. But I mean, obviously it's one game coming off a couple of games in a row where we've collected points and winning and ties. So I mean, I don't want to sit and just dive and just be stuck in this one game for too long. But obviously, like I said, a third of the season is gone, boys, and We need to start get the ball rolling. I mean, look, second to last in the table. It's not where we want to be. Obviously, I know we obviously mentioned that we still have more players incoming. I mean, obviously we just had Ortiz debut at the U.S. Open Cup, and I'm sure he might see a couple of minutes against Seattle. And obviously, Grande, I don't know what the situation will be with him if he goes back to Dino Dos or if he maybe sticks around for the weekend since since Franco Escobar will be out with a red card. I don't know what the decision is there yet, but I mean, but like I said, guys, we need to find a better way to get connectivity and creativity up front. We need Linger to be more Linger like, score goals. Obviously, Ponce, we need Ponce to be motivated and enthused to go out there and score goals for us. I need Jackie McGlynn. I need him to go out there. Those young. He needs to use those young 19-year-old legs, man, and run out there and make a difference. Um, so and Holmes, whenever he comes in and debuts, we also need him to get started and get it going. But I mean, is there anything else you want to add to this subject, guys, before we end up going to the
Mark,
next
I
thing?
think, yeah, dude, I think we're to the point where Ben just needs to open up the floodgates and just let these boys play. I know he's like being uh, cautious because you have all these players about to come in from injuries and you don't want to change too much, but I think he just needs to open up the freedom and allow some of these players to play. He'll probably say he does give them freedom to play in their space, but I think there's so much intent on how the Dynamo play that that's where we're suffering right now, where we're so predictable and so easy to defend. And the game sometimes I'm thinking like as a 15-year-old, the idea was to move the ball outside to the wings quick and get his forward quick and look for over the top balls and all that. We don't see that with the Dynamo all at all. If we play a forward ball out to the wing, there's four players still defending us behind, and we're just that slow. It sucks. Man, it just sucks. So I think Benny needs to open it up a little bit and allow the attack to open up. Granted, we had 21 shots last night, but that's a USL team. That's bottom of the tier, 10th place out of 12. So that's nothing to. We'll throw that out the window and pretend that's not even a case right there. But against Seattle at home, we can try something different. If we're going to lose, we're going to lose because we're already predicted to lose and we're already styled to lose. So let's go with something different and see what happens out of it. And Ben, bro, wake up during the pressers. You look like you're just an AI. That was a good
Yeah.
example. We brought you an AI generated press conferences look the two passments look like. That's my thoughts. Sorry, man.
No, it's good. I mean, look, I like hearing the passion behind it, and obviously, so, sometimes it's very easy from our standpoint to put ourselves in Ben Olsen's shoes and be like, dude, look, you've had 12 weeks, this ain't working, blah blah. Let's blow it up and let's go. Let's change it tactically, right? Sometimes it's easier said than done. Sometimes, like I said, we don't see the players as much as the coaches and the coaching staff does. So maybe there's a reason why he's so hesitant to change the formation or to change the tactics or whatever. Maybe he doesn't think he has the quality of players to be able to change formations or tactically. So who
He
knows? Look,
doesn't.
I'm not
He thinks
I'm
so.
not I'm not trying to speak for him, nor am I trying to defend him or whatever the issue is. But like I said, we had such a rough start to the season, and it's put us back. So obviously, it's put us back far enough to the point where we're struggling to make jumps in the table, right? And the thing is, we're not a high scoring team. Even with the clubs from years past, we've never been a high scoring team where we're averaging, where we're doing 60, 70 goals a season as a club. Like, no, we're barely scratching, 40, 45 goals a season, things of that nature. That's more the Dynamo kind of standard. But the fact of the matter is that we have to find those scoring boots, and we have to find the creativity and the connection. We have to find people who can create and make these things happen, because yeah, it's easy to say, hey man, we spend 7 million on Ponce, and Ponce has only scored 3 goals in 12 games, and blah 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 blah. But you just mentioned We went to LA, basically no service, no shots on goal, no nothing. And is it right for me as a fan, as a supporter, as a podcast person to blame him for that? No, it's not. I mean, realistically, not. It's
Right.
not my. I can't place the blame on him. You know,
Nope.
I know people sometimes think, oh man, you have a soft spot for Ponce because I believe he's capable of scoring 20 goals for us. I believe he's capable of that. But have we surrounded him with the tools and the players needed for him to be able to do that? I don't think so. So I
Yeah,
mean,
and there's like a ton of disconnect there because Ponce is capable of doing that. We've seen him over and over again, just able to make runs and actually take shots. And it's just really upsetting to see how much effort he puts into games and not being able to do anything about it because obviously he can score his own goals whenever he has the good opportunity, but if he doesn't have like enough support there from everyone behind him, I feel like he's missing out on that. And he's being paid to score goals, obviously, but
yeah,
like there's not enough support, especially from the midfield. Like even the forward core, obviously there's moving pieces here and there, but I feel like we're missing out on that because of how much we're not able to build up. And the game against LAFC was just like a big highlight on that.
yeah, for sure. And
But
look,
Ponce isn't performing not just because of the team; it's also because of himself. Granted, he does need that support, and that's the type of striker he is. He has to have the ball in the freaking box. But at the same time, you should be a striker who can adapt and make and be traverse. We're not a striker type profile attacking team. That's Ben's friggin' style. He hates strikers, and Ponce doesn't fit. But in the open field, Ponce cannot take on a defender, beat that defender, and rip a friggin' shot. He has to
but
be in the open space alone. So that's a difference. So he doesn't have his pace doesn't get him past those defenders. So there is half to blame on him as well. He has to perform better and prove that he's that $8.5 million DP. And yes, can we get more support? He's going to score because the ball's going to be in the box and he's going to do his freaking job. What can he do outside the box to help us in that get to that final third and progress even better? I love the work rate. Granted, I'm not down on the guy as much as a lot of people are, but he does need to do a little bit more per se.
this is where I'll disagree with you a little bit, OSG. It doesn't make sense for me. It doesn't make sense to me to have my number 9 receiving the ball midfield. You know, it doesn't make sense
That's not the
for me.
plan.
I mean, yeah, but I mean, but like he's willing to go back to the midfield, go back into the half of our defense and help defensively and all that stuff because obviously it's something that is required in Benny ball, right? But at the same time, when he's getting the ball at midfield and he's being asked to go out there and dribble the ball and kind of maneuver and do this and get away from defenders, like that's not his style because he doesn't have the speed. We all know that he's a legit target man, number 9 striker. He doesn't have
I
the
like him.
pace or the speed nor the dribble. I mean, to do all that to get away from defenders from midfield. So it makes it so it's a struggle
That's
for
bench
him.
stress.
Like for him, what I like about him is he's able to hold the ball up to the point where he can pass it, but once he passes that ball, he never sees it again. Once he starts sprinting up forward towards the box, he doesn't see it again because somebody loses it, somebody gets tackled, somebody does something with whatever to stop the play or whatever to stop the or something happens to stop the attack overall. But with that being said, I mean, obviously, Linger. What we've seen from him, the first 4 games in his Dynamo career, obviously has been nice. I to one of the things that I forgot to mention about the U.S. Open Cup game with Linger is I obviously we've seen him score his first 2 games, 2 goals, great, awesome, quick, automatic contributions. That's what we want to see now. But he's also been brought in here to be a playmaker, not just a goal scorer. So obviously it was great to see him assist 2 goals in a U.S. Open Cup game and be able to lift his head up and look for players inside the box with the ability to score and create that opportunity for Ponce, create that opportunity for Kowalovic, and all that good stuff. So I mean, it was great to see that aspect of his game, because he wasn't here just to score goals. He was here to be a playmaker and create for all the other players up front. So it was great to see that version of him in that game. Anything else, guys, before we move on? The key is this.
He's really disappointing with the amount of production and how many goals we were missing out last year and this year, keeping the same trend. And I feel like we could use a lot of production for the players. Like, we have to find a way to just let them produce. Obviously, just having better players helps, but this is what we have right now. This is what we have to deal with. So it's more so like, how is Ben also going to let them do that? And if there are any adjustments needed to be made, and of course, we're moving towards yes here. And obviously, Ben is the coach, so he's gonna have to know what to do here.
So on the chat, I just see an R, so I'm assuming that's Rushan.
Yeah.
Okay.
It is.
So Rushan says Baronga does it without problem. He progresses, takes himself, no problem. Blah, blah, blah. Look, two different type of players. First and foremost, Baronga has the pace. He has the speed. He's a winger. So I mean, it's totally different. Aspects as far
Mark,
as the game.
that is everybody's complaint right now, that we love target strikers, but he's got to do more outside the box, especially when we're struggling to do that. To give him to, he can't just he's benefiting off of our success. We are not succeeding, so he is not succeeding. He needs to succeed in his own regard, and he's not doing that on his own. Every time he does play in the midfield or trying to work that foul, he's playing with his back to the ball or to the keeper, to the goal, right? And then when he does play it, he passes it off immediately. He's not turning and attacking towards goal. He is getting rid of the ball immediately. He needs to do more outside of that box and progress forward to help us and progress his own game as well. This isn't Greece anymore.
For sure. But
you have to improve.
No, for sure. But like I mentioned again, he knows his game. He does not have the pace. He doesn't have the pace.
And that's our fault for bringing in that type of player. Then,
but I mean, we had somebody prior like Sebastian Ferreira who had. I mean, he wasn't the fastest either, but he had a little bit more pace than Ponce. And he wasn't fit.
Hated him because he didn't play defense.
Because he didn't want to play defense.
Probably is the better striker. Probably is the better striker for this team.
I mean, it's damn if you do, damn if you don't. I mean, it's just one of those things where we have to understand the characteristics of the type of player you brought in, and he's a target number 9.
Andreas is enjoying this.
No, I mean, it's true. I mean, look, I don't mind having the little back and forth. I mean, it's fine. I mean, we're not always going to agree. We're not always going to agree on this on certain topics. But like, that's what I'm saying. Where people are like, "Oh man, Ponce, he's a failed, blah blah blah, this and that, blah blah." Look, to be honest, I think we did Sebastian Ferreira wrong. We failed him, and look at him now. He's in South America scoring goals because why? Because people put players around him who can help him succeed. I mean, the same thing is like, look, Christian Ramirez could not score for us for worth a damn. He goes everywhere else around the world and comes back to MLS with Columbus and LA Galaxy, scores every game. Like, I mean, it's at some point we have to realize as a front office, I can't just offer appetizers and not offer you a main course. That's just it, man. It's not a one-man team. It's a whole team game, and the thing is, Pat hasn't put anybody around him. And look, who knows? And Ali doesn't tear his ACL, and maybe him and Ponce are a dynamic duo, and all this great stuff and whatever. Who knows, right? But unfortunately, we don't have the wingers at the second right now. What's up, Giuseppe? Guys, all right, let's move.
Tell Giuseppe, who called him a failure though? We hadn't called him a failure. We just said he's got to do more. Mark's defending him a little bit more than me, but Ponce has not been a failure. He's not made $8.5 million worth of execution yet. So calm down, G.
All right, well, guys. Well, obviously this Saturday, we have Dynamo are celebrating the 20th anniversary of this of Dynamo history. Uh, we are facing the Seattle Sounders this Saturday, and like OSG mentioned earlier, a Seattle Sounder team that we've been kind of on par with. We've tied 4 of the last 5 games that we've played against them, so nothing crazy as far as them having a over advantage of us as of late. But obviously, new season, new players. They have revamped their system, their players as far as bringing players like Jesus Ferreira, obviously Rusnek has done well as their playmaker, with Jordan Morris and all those guys available for them as well. Christian Roldan, obviously we know about him and and his style. Um, Andres, I'll
Hey,
start with you
Mark,
on
real
this
quick
one.
before you, but
Oh,
yeah, real quick before you get into the actual game, because you're talking about season 20 for us celebration.
mhm.
Well, it starts at 10 o'clock in the morning, and it looks like I'm gonna be there, and it looks like y'all know Herman. Herman's gonna be there too, and we're gonna cover. But it's the legends of the Dynamo will start at 10 o'clock in the morning, and they're gonna be playing small sided pickup games, and it's from
Nice.
at Discovery Green, by the way, at 10 o'clock in the morning. So y'all, if y'all can, the festivities start that early, and you get to see the legends. Dwayne D. Rosario is going to be there. I'm sure Ching will be there as well. Yeah,
I
and
have the
Anthony
whole
Miller,
list.
Stuart Holden, Brian Davis. Yeah, in fact, Andres has the whole list. So come out and you get to check out your legends, your Dynamo legends, the
Yeah.
ones that we don't have stars on our Surge jerseys, but Andres has got 2 stars right there. He can show off. So man, come out and check our boys out and then show up. We're going to have a tailgate, Mark Surge. You're going to have a tailgate. We'll be in the Dynamo headquarter parking lot again. We're going to do the walk in again as we did last tailgate, and then we start the show, and then we get to talk about Seattle. Sorry, had to get that legends part out, Mark.
No, no, for
Sorry
sure,
for
for
the
sure. Thank you,
interruption.
thank you, OSG. Um, yeah, against Seattle Sounders. Is there anything else you want to add on top of that, Andres, about the 20th anniversary festivities, aside from what OSG just
Yeah,
mentioned?
yeah. OSG kind of said it, like it's going down, and also in the stadium, and like the Dynamo even just had
Oh
like a
yeah,
full list of players that are attending, and this was like posted like about a month ago. And yeah, we do have confirmed attendances for Corey Ash, Wade Barrett, Bobby Boswell, Will Bruin, Mike Chavala, Brian Ching, Warren Creval, Dwayne De Rosario, Andrew Driver, Bonia Garcia, Stu Holden, Martin Hutton, like back from 2006. Obviously, Pat Onson's going to be there, and also Lova Palmer from the 2010s. And also, one thing I
Regular
wanted
boy.
to add, one thing I wanted to add is that this was kind of confirmed today through Glenn Davis. Eddie Robinson is actually going to be in attendance for the celebrations during the game.
Nice.
So because he wasn't confirmed initially, and he's going to be bringing his MLS championship rings and all that, and which is pretty cool because he kind of cut off the Dynamo organization after he wasn't brought in as a commentator a few years ago,
Yeah,
and he's gonna work with the Dynamo now, which is awesome. So Eddie
that's good.
Robinson, man, we want to have you on at some point if you're listening to this. So
Yeah,
man, welcome back, man.
for sure, for sure. Welcome back to E Rob. It'll be interesting to see when will we have the capabilities to have like a Legends game. You know how they have like those games around the world. Like it'll be like Barca Legends versus Liverpool Legends, whatever. It'd be kind of nice to see something like that here. That especially for like an anniversary like this. I mean, obviously this is too late, but maybe 25th, maybe Dynamo Legends versus legends of somebody, some Pachuca legends or something like that, So,
Oh
but
yeah, also Brad Davis. I didn't add him, sorry,
there
but
you
yeah,
go, Brad Davis. There you go.
yeah.
That's right. But that's obviously wishful thinking. Hopefully for the future, we'll see what happens. But with that being said, we do have a game this Saturday against Seattle Sounders. Again, like I said, guys, we're a third of the way to the season, still bottom two. We're trying to fight our way back up, and it doesn't seem like we're doing much to help our cause. But obviously, a win does help a long way to do that because I think we're in a three-way tie for second to last with 10 points with two of the clubs. But obviously, because of our goal differential, we are second to last. Andres, your
5
thoughts on
points.
Seattle
5 points
Sounders
from
coming
the
in?
playoff.
Seattle is one of those teams that always know how to play against us, and it's just being a real pain everywhere just to like try to figure them out because I don't know how they do it. Every single time they just get away with it, and I think we haven't beaten them since 2021, if I'm not
It's been
mistaken.
it's been 4 ties out of the last 5 games, and one of them was a loss. So we've been 1-4 with against them.
We haven't beaten them in almost 4 years, man,
Oh
and
well, even past that. So
it's very upsetting, and it kind of shows in the games like they find
October
enough.
16th of 2021.
wow.
Yes, and
Who scored the goals? Who scored the goals?
mm,
Uriti and Quintero.
of course.
DQ and Uriti. Yeah, sorry. All right, go ahead.
No, because look, like they're set up very well. They play very well consistently. They make it to playoffs every year. But for some reason, like against Houston, they're just it's a combination of skill and luck. And it reminds me of the game last year where they were just able to get red card, that stupid red card, and us just like not taking advantage of the opportunity. And really, like it's gonna come down to figuring it out against Seattle because this year, like obviously they're kind of in the middle of the pack right now, just going up and up. But still, like they're just able to find a way in. And for us, it's gonna come down to our best game. It's a really bad like solution here because that's just very broad for me.
Yeah.
But how like the way we're playing against LAFC, and of course we have some silver linings from the Phoenix game. Well, that's a USL team. We're talking about Seattle here. Like we have some good things going, but we have to find a way through the low block. They're gonna park the bus and they're gonna find a counter. It's every single team is doing that, and we just have to find a way to get those goals.
For sure, I agree. Like I mentioned with the LAFC team, I mean, obviously LAFC and Seattle are two clubs that we, automatically think, hey, they're battling for the top spot in the West, and things of that nature. But coincidentally enough, both of them are mid-table right now. But it looks like they're both getting on the right path to fight to going up and fighting for the Western Conference crown. With Seattle, obviously, 16 points, 4 wins, and 3 draws and 4 losses. But you look at that team and that squad and the firepower that they have. I mean, they have, if nothing at all, they have MLS proven scorers on that roster. You go down the list of their offensive prowess, and they have, I mean, people who are known goal scorers in MLS and have scored a lot of goals for not only them but for different clubs around the league. And like I said, we're struggling offensively. We're struggling offensively, and like Andres mentioned, one of the things that Seattle has done against us, especially when they come down here during the hot times, is rely a lot on the counter attack. Now, depending on the weather this weekend, I don't think it's going to be scorching hot or anything like that. Maybe they'll play a game head on against us, whatever. But regardless, OSG, do you feel comfortable enough going up against Seattle? You know, if they came in here to actually play the game and wasn't a counter attacking team and just actually played the game straight up against the Dynamo, do you feel comfortable enough to have the capabilities of scoring enough goals to actually pull out a win?
Oh, right now, score goals? No, absolutely not. I have no. I mean, as we heard earlier, I have no confidence in Ben's attack right now, and he needs to change. So, do I have confidence that we can play with Seattle? Yes, but fart noise, bro. I don't know what we can do. And I'm gonna be with Giuseppe right here on this one, and these boys are gonna see. Yeah, sorry, your Fox right there. They're gonna. The history is gonna be in the stadium. The aura is gonna be there. We're supposedly close to a sellout. So close to a sellout. The rumors have it. So this stadium can be rocking. Fuck the weather. This stadium can be rocking on Saturday night, man. Y'all hear this now. Be there. Make sure you're there. Don't worry about it. Bring a friggin' poncho. We're throwing water anyways if you're in our section, so you don't need a poncho. So come on. Where y'all at? Come, this is the game. We need to beat Seattle and set them straight and then get ourselves up. As I mentioned, 5 points from the playoff line, 11 games into the season, a third of the season is almost gone. It is time to start stepping up. Granted, we're only 5 points behind. More players are coming in. This is a great game to set your momentum, man, with that schedule that's coming up, that we have coming up. Back to back. How many, Mark, real quick question. How many games do you think we have left in the month of May, today being May 8th? Give you a guess, 1 through 100. How many games do you think we have
How
left
many?
in May?
5.
You have three weekends left in May.
5
I'll
games.
give you that. Maybe 7.
Wow.
7 games. We Saturday, we play Wednesday, we play Saturday, we play Tuesday, we play Saturday, we play Wednesday, we play Saturday, and that's the end of our month. We are now playing 7 consecutive games back to back to back to back to back to back, and that of course is including the Open Cup against Austin. We
Yep.
have the game against Minnesota during the week. We have the game against NYFC during the week at NYFC. This into this month is going to be crucial, and we need our injured players to hurry up and show up because we need them. I hope Andrade is part of the plan. We need him. I hope Ortiz is part of the plan.
Yes.
Whatever. We need to figure that out right now. The schedule, we thought the first 10 was tough. Now we're in another tougher situation. This is the make or break part of the schedule we have to succeed in to finish off the month of May. We have to get points. One, two,
Ye-
three, four of those are home games. One of those are at Dallas.
Yeah, yeah. As I'm looking at the schedule right now, yeah, you're right. 7 games, and it's obviously it's against competition that's right close to us as far as table goes. I mean, obviously Dallas is the team that we're chasing. That's 5 points away from the last playoff spot. San Jose is one of those clubs that are down there in the bottom with us, and Kansas City is one of the teams that is tied with us as far as points go. Um, so I mean, yeah, obviously you're right. This month is really make or break for our season. More than likely, depending on what happens, because every other month is about the same, about between 3 to 6 games. Obviously not including what happens with the US Open Cup and Leagues Cup coming up soon. But um, yeah, it's interesting. It's interesting, note to think that month of May. Um, we have so many games back to back to back to back. I mean, basically, we're playing midweek every week this month, and playing on the weekend every weekend this month as well. So, yeah, it'll be interesting. Look, six. You said what? Let me see. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 6 of those games are league games. Obviously, the one is the Austin FC game for the U.S. Open Cups. So, out of those 6 games, what 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 total of points would be comfortable enough to say that you had a successful run in this May? You know, out of the possible 18 points available to you. I mean, and how achievable is it? I mean, to be honest, I mean, like, and I don't want to get too far ahead of ourselves. Obviously, I still want to talk about the Seattle game, and obviously our predictions for the Seattle game. But I mean, obviously looking at that, I mean, I just put up the whole schedule, and yeah, this month of May is crucial. And like I said, we still haven't we're still not with Holmes. Inali and Quiones are about another month and a half away from even training. So obviously that's the problem right there as well. We are seeing life from Ponce. Linger is obviously contributing right off the bat, so that's good to see. And and hopefully McGlynn is starts to show up more often than not. So um,
I
I
know
guess
Lasagna has probably like a few more weeks left, depending
yeah.
on the visa.
Yeah, exactly. So, I'll ask you, Andres, I guess first, and I'll let OSG ponder a little bit since he's the one who brought it up. Out of the 18 points available to you, how many points do you think is enough to at least keep the Dynamo intrigued, to keep them interesting as far as being able to make the playoffs?
Man, the easiest answer will be all of them. but, well, man, anything above 10.
Cop out.
Anything above 10.
Anything above 10?
Yeah, because like I'm looking at the schedule, like it's so packed, and I'm like, I don't feel confident with how the team can just like pull out wins, and I hope anything like can change my mind on that, but it's kind of tough right now. Like we need all the points we can get, but we're not playing like that right now.
I mean, we've played it up to this point. We played 11 games and we've gotten 10 points. So you're asking the Dynamo to play half the amount of games and to get and to garner the same amount of points at least.
Man, like it's just look
I
at the
say
schedule.
11.
Yeah.
Giuseppe says 10 to 12. Andreas, look at it. So let's go through it. Mark, you already mentioned we're playing bottom of the tables as long as we're bottom of the tables, starting with Seattle, who is 7th place. So they are a playoff line. And then we're in Minnesota, who is number 2 in the West, right? And then we go to Dallas, who technically is a playoff team. Austin, playoff team. San Jose, bottom. NYC,
Austin doesn't
bottom.
count. U.S.
Sporting
Open Cup.
KC,
Austin doesn't count.
yeah. That's right. That's it. But that's right. That's right. It's still a meaningful game because it's sandwiched in between two road games, by the way, at Dallas and at San Jose, sandwiched in between. So, man, I 7 games, 3 wins, 2 draws, 2 losses, and that's 11 points for me. 3 wins. I don't think we're going to beat Seattle. I think we can get a draw out of it, maybe a loss just because of who we are, and that's what we're going to do. We'll beat Minnesota on Wednesday night because we always beat Minnesota, even though we just said that with LAFC. Dallas, who knows what the hell's going to happen over there. That sucks. At San Jose, we play San Jose well every time, so we can get some points at NYFC. We're going to win one of those two. One of those two on the road, and then we come back home against Sporting KC, another rivalry game, an old rivalry game. I think that's where our 3rd win is. So I 3, 2, and 2, 3 wins, 2 draws,
So
2
let me
losses.
so I understand. I
That's
understand.
hard though.
Yeah. So OSG, let me tell you this. I like the way you're thinking. I like the critical thinking. Let me give you a little bit of critical thinking from my side. All right. Sporting
Remember,
Kansas
players
City.
are returning. Those are 7
Sporting
games
Kansas City
in 3.5
have
weeks.
have scored 17 goals. San Jose has scored 24 goals. Seattle have scored 17 goals. Minnesota 15. Okay.
I know we've scored 10.
We scored 10. So I mean, I mean, even though these clubs are still in the bottom, I mean, but they're capable of scoring.
It's not the defense.
They're capable, but these clubs are
We
capable
can
of
play
scoring.
Seattle to a 1-1 draw. That's true.
They're
And
capable of scoring.
we
That's all
can
I'm
play
saying.
San Jose to a 4-3 win. But are they capable of defending?
I'm excited to see where those 3 goals are going to come from. But anyways, look,
Hey,
let's get back to the Seattle game.
What are my What are my initials, real quick? That's an acronym for Optimistic Soccer Guy.
Or old senile guy, maybe.
Old C guy.
There we go. Maybe.
All right.
I did predict 3rd. I did predict 3rd for the end of the season. So hold me to it.
I mean, obviously, you guys are on the same path as far as like, hey, 10 points and above would be amazing. Is it realistic?
Yes.
Let me see how they play against Seattle this week, and maybe we can answer the thing better. Hopeful. OSG prediction for Seattle Sounder game. What is your prediction?
1-1. 2 scores.
Optimistic.
I mean, I know I just said optimistic, but one of those 2 losses is most likely going to be to Seattle. I'm sorry to say. So optimistic, realistic soccer guy. I don't know. Like I don't feel comfortable. I that's why I said I'm with Giuseppe, where they're going to have to.
Giuseppe just wants to win by a goal. I feel you, Giuseppe.
He predicted 2-1. The aura of the legends in the stadium is going to get us to win. I would love for us to get that win.
Look, sometimes the vibes can hit hard enough that'll carry you over. Look, I just watched an amazing Champions League game on Tuesday versus Inter Milan and Barcelona, and the vibes over there were immaculate, and it pushed Inter Milan into a stratosphere that I didn't think they were possible. So you said 1-1?
Yes, sir.
Who scores the goal?
Who scores the goal? Jeez, man. I'm gonna go Ponce back to back.
Ponce, there we go. Let's go, Ponce. Andres, prediction.
I have 2-1 Houston.
2-1 Houston. Who scores the goals?
Dorsey and Linger.
Dorsey and Linger. After that good,
Ooh,
after
here we
that
go.
rest.
Dorsey Banger, finally.
Yeah.
There we go. Dorsey Banger. That's what we need from our legend, our hero. I
Yes.
am going to go 2-2 tie. Um, who scores the goals?
One of those games.
2-2 tie. I mean, a little bit of excitement out there for the crowd, but unfortunately, a point is a point, I guess, for the most part. But just carry the
All right, I
just
hope our
carry the
score
tradition.
lasts then.
Yeah. 2-2 tie. I'm gonna say let's go back to back for Jackie McGlynn. And let's throw a little bossy action in there.
All right.
So
Penalty kick.
I think he'll score on the open play. Open
He can
play.
score on his own.
Yeah,
Okay.
open play. Open play. All right, guys. So look,
All right, bye.
with that being said, obviously, I think the theme of this show has been, a third of the season has been gone. Ponce and Linger, Giuseppe says Ponce and Linger, which that'll be amazing as well. Go ahead.
Before you get into that question that you're about to linger, man. So Asher did get onto Twitter today, and just so in case some of y'all did not hear it or did not see it in the Discord or were not paying attention, there was a release today from MLS Communications about the whatever the transfers and all that shit. So actual game remaining is 1.77 million when factoring all the signings from this window. 1 million of that GAM we're still holding off in case we want to go to that 3-3 3 wide EP method, which we still can declare in the summer when the summer window opens. We can still do 4-2 as well. If we do 4-2, we get an extra million worth of GAM right there as well. So we still have that flexibility, which they've hinted to they're doing a DP. So we're going to go to 3-3, by the way, DP. As I mentioned that, Asher keeps on talking. And we're still flexible with senior spots since multiple players on senior roster are eligible for supplemental roster. Green cards are into work for 1 to 3 players to free up international spots. That is also great news.
That's awesome, man.
Because internationals, yes, keep it friggin' coming, bro. And we signed 14 players as we mentioned earlier. And the last one that he mentioned, Linger, can be bought down right now.
That's what I meant.
Yeah.
That's the thing that I've mentioned ever since news of him being our DP was mentioned. A lot of people were obviously upset.
We thought it was front loaded.
But this and that, whatever, blah blah blah. But I told people, look, hey man, he's DP because of the transfer fee. He can be easily bought down, and obviously we can keep it moving. And look, I mean, obviously he's come in and contributed automatically, so I don't think too many people are upset at Linger being whatever status he is. So shout out to Linger on that aspect, and shout out to Asher for all the information that he gives us as far as providing
And
information.
all that information, man.
Yeah, for
Like,
sure.
You figure like 10 years ago we were with Matt Jordan.
It's very helpful. Now, I would like to go back to a question that I thought I wasn't going to have to come back to, but I mean, unfortunately, this club leaves me no other option but to keep relaying this question. Ladies and gentlemen, are the Dynamo MLS worst club in the league at this moment?
Chat, we ask you that too.
Asher, I'll do. Andres, chat, OSG. Obviously, what we saw Saturday, very disheartening, very poor performance. I mean, to be honest, maybe even worse than the Miami game, honestly. Andres, what your thoughts on the question and why not?
For me, it's still going to be a no. When there's a universe where Montreal, Toronto, Atlanta, and LA Galaxy are existing in the current state of things, we are not the worst. And I was able to see some other games because I've been seeing some comments about them just like sucking overall, and they're in pretty bad shape, especially LA Galaxy and Montreal. They have like some really like bad issues going on for
0
them.
wins.
0 wins for each, and let me tell you, we have 2 wins. So, like,
It is more than zero.
objectively speaking, we are not the worst. But I'm
Right.
I'm
I
I'm
mean,
kind
we
of
did.
I'm worried because
Montreal
it,
scored 5 goals, Mark.
I'm worried though because we gotta find a way to get back up there, and I've been having like a lot of I'm placing a lot of trust with the front office and everything there. But of course, the way the season started, the worst start of the season in Dynamo history, it's not giving me a lot of confidence. So I'm like, okay, guys, get the ball rolling. Come on.
I mean, look, we like we mentioned earlier, this month is pivotal, and depending where we're at the end of this month is gonna speak a lot of volume. I like honestly, like I don't expect us to be in a playoff spot by the end of this month. But if we're hovering around that 8-9 spot, where we're not that far off, maybe a point or two away from it, I think that'll put us in good position, or you know, okay position. But obviously, if we falter and this month goes awry and just everything just sinks, then it's gonna be pretty tough to come out of that.
Mark,
OSD.
did you answer the question?
No,
How many points
I'm
did
gonna
you
ask
say
you.
out of the 18?
I'm gonna ask you, and then I'll answer it myself. Um, are Dynamo's MLS worse?
I agree with Andreas. Absolutely friggin' not. Like you said, Canada sucks already. There's only
Hey,
one win between two
Vancouver,
teams.
Except
Vancouver is
Vancouver,
dominating.
yes.
Right. I know Vancouver, man. I was trying to ignore that part of Canada, but that they might be the first American civilization above that borderline. No, I'm just kidding. But no, we're not the worst, but yes, hey man, we are close the way we're playing in the MLS right now, and can't produce goals, and cannot produce goals, and puts our defense in situations where they're liable to make the mistakes, and the mistakes cost us. If our offense was better and more controlling of the game, then maybe we don't make the mistakes and we'd look like a better team. Granted, we have more players coming in, but whatever. No, we are not the worst. No, we're not the worst. We're what, 5 from the bottom, 6 from the bottom. If you make me rank them right now,
I think
we're
7 from the
close.
bottom because LA Galaxies only have 3 points. I think. Um, obviously, you know, I guess that I think I never thought I was hear myself say the city's worst, but I guess thank the heavens for LA Galaxy. Uh, I mean, look, but
The
even then,
winless LA Galaxy, defending champions.
but look, that's the thing about it. You know, they are the defending champions, so they have a grace period now because they just won. They just lifted MLS Cup, so you know, hey, it's all good. To be honest, but with that being said, I mean, you know, we are not the worst club, but we sure did play like the worst club this past Saturday. So I mean, it's a little bit of a give and go. My answer, but I mean, you know, obviously looking at the standings and obviously all the numbers, we are not. I mean, you know, like I said, Montreal, Toronto, and obviously Galaxy are. I don't know what's going on over there, but I mean, but the way we play, the way we played Saturday, if that continues, I don't care that we have 2 more wins than those guys. If we continue playing like that, you know, we might have to relook at our answers and change them. So, but no, they're not the worst. But I mean, but unfortunately, we're second to last in the Western Conference table, and that's not a good sight at all. So, you know, but with that being said, guys, I know we've been on a mission for 300 subs on YouTube. Andres, do you have an update on that number?
Yes, we are at 289 subscribers.
289, guys. 11 subs away. 11. In my opinion, this should have been done a while back. We should have
Yep.
been at 300 a while back already. But I'm not, you know, I understand that the frustration with the club and stuff like that, you know, you're not into the Dynamo content right now and all that stuff. But hopefully as soon as Dynamo start winning, you know, everything starts picking up and all the content, you know, you can't get enough of it and you just get everybody to subscribe and everybody just comes in all at once and, you know, just bam, 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 thumbs up, thumbs up, thumbs up, thumbs up, thumbs up. But until we get there, guys, 11 more subs, guys. Please help us with this road to 300. As soon as we get to 300, we'll announce when what tailgate or what game we'll choose to give out Dynamo swag and prizes for free, guys. So please, like I said, the sooner the better, the sooner. So with that being said, Andres, let everybody know where they can find us and where they can reach us.
Man, at Dynamic Foxtrot on X, Instagram, and Blue Sky. Also on X, we do have a separate profile called Noodle Tiempo. We're gonna keep you updated all throughout the season, no matter what. It goes for Dynamo, Dash, Dose, and man, this season has a lot of things going on, so it's been nuts. And of course, wherever you're listening right now or you're watching, you are on the right track. If not, just look up Noodle Time on any podcast platform. We're gonna be there if you want to listen to us. If you want to watch, you're probably watching this right now on the live stream on YouTube, which we try to have it recorded and live stream on Thursday night every night. And if not, that's fine. You can still watch the replay or just the edit itself the next day. So YouTube's probably the best place to watch. And if you also want interested in looking for a different platform that shows video and also promotes awesome content creators like us, goals.tv is a good place to be or just get to know other creators like us. That's spelled goals.tv/at Dynamic Foxtrot, and that's spelled with a Z towards the end. So those are the places we're at. And yeah, just check it out. Give us a review. Subscribe if you haven't already. Like like Mark said, we are 11 subscribers away from 200 on or 300 on YouTube.
300.
So yeah, 300 kind of sounded like 200, but 300. And subscribe, and we're gonna get some giveaways. Like I said in the last episode, I'm gonna go through my Dynamo history trunk, and I'm gonna pull out something from there, and I'm gonna give it away. So help us get there, and like always, we do appreciate the support that you've given us all throughout this point in time, and every time you share our stuff and like it and subscribing, it's amazing. So we do appreciate the support.
OSG, anything you want to add
Let's
before we
add-
go?
Yeah, absolutely. And to remind people, we got the Foxtrot game days. We're in attendance at the games, we do a game day. This one's going to be a big one this Saturday with the 20-year celebration and all the legends. I'm going to be there in the morning at 10 o'clock and getting video coverage and hopefully some interviews. We are allowed to be there as media, so hopefully that means there's going to be a little extra and get some interviews with some legends. And then, of course, I'll go to the tailgate and then the game, and then we'll have the press conference afterwards. So this is a big game. This is a big Foxtrot game day. You obviously have Noodle Time live every Thursday, every week, Thursday, 8 o'clock, maybe 8:10. It depends. We're still there, 8 o'clock every Thursday. Y'all make sure y'all are with us. We have the Dash Dispatch every week, following the Dash and reporting all the Dash. And there's every now and there's a little bit of instant ramen where there might be an interview that pops up. So y'all check those up. Their most recent interview was with Juan and the El Batillon youth, and that was a good interview. Y'all go listen to it. That kid is motivated and gets out there and does his little shit for a 17-year-old. So y'all go listen to it. That's cool. You still got all the other interviews in there that's blowing up to Blake Gillingham. So Foxtrot TV, we are Foxtrot Media. Make sure to follow.
Yeah.
For sure, guys. Guys, again, thank you for all your support. Please turn this guy's frown upside down. 11 more subscribers to 300. Turn it upside down, guys. Help us get to 300. There you go. Shout out to Rusan and Giuseppe on the chat, guys. Thank you for being active and all that good stuff. And with that being said, guys, as always, you know, regardless if we're up or down, each time we always hold it down. Hi, Kiki.